As night draws to a close in the Andean mountain range, the weather promises to be splendid. But the Inca gods have decided otherwise. The rain took this driver by surprise. This road is bad, but I'm going anyway. I like it. The danger is crashing into the small cars that zip along here. David is making for Cuzco, where he lives with his wife and new baby. There's only one lane on this road, and it's narrow. Separating him from his family is El Niño, a meteorological monster caused by global warming, which produces massive downpours for months at a time. Seven hours later, the sun finally begins to shine down on the road. David's journey promises to be challenging. He's heading into one of the most beautiful jungles in the world, with a rich and amazing biodiversity. But the jungle also attracts those who wish to exploit it. Above ground, its precious timber is being cut down. And below ground, the hunt for gas and gold has led to large areas being deforested and polluted. Poor farmers take part in the destruction, clearing the trees for agriculture. Amazonia, one of the last untouched territories, is forever being scarred by the roads used by these new conquistadores. Nothing stops them. When the paths reach their end, they keep pushing through, braving whatever nature throws in their path. Once he's reached Cuzco, David will set off for Nuevo Eden, the new Eden. 375 kilometers of tracks, high mountains, and impenetrable jungle. The natural barrier helps protect the native Indian tribes that continue to live like their ancestors before them. The same lament must have sounded out over Machu Picchu when the 16th century conquistadores destroyed the Inca kingdom. Today, the conquerors are the Peruvians themselves. David, the truck driver, always takes his family part of the way before he sets off for the big journey. Come on, climb. Come this way. Punch up a bit. That's fine, he's in. Here, hold on to the dog. Can I come with you? No, my dear. In the holidays you can. Oh. Well, it's not far where I have to load up with cement and take it to the Manu Park. We go with him so we can say goodbye. Sometimes he's away for 2 weeks, so we make the most of spending a whole day with him when he's here. And are you all alone during the school year? Yes. You do everything? Yes, I'm all alone. It can be hard. They load up with 15 tons of construction material, cement and scrap iron that will be used to build the Amazon pioneers' houses. There's one ritual before he disappears for a couple of weeks. A little ice cream? Can I try? No. Come on, eat your ice cream, kids. We need to get going. Once he's on his way, David's focus shifts from his kids to the road. This will take us up to 5,000 meters. The route goes straight through the jungle. To be on the safe side, David only makes 2 trips a month, a total of 150 kilometers. Now you have to take great care and to focus. You must be well rested. Because getting tired in the mountains is extremely dangerous. A lot of the time, drivers fall asleep at the wheel, and the slightest mistake could be fatal. Last year, one of my friends went off the road here. Because the road is in such a bad state, his steering went. He went over into the precipice here. His co-driver was also killed. He was just 16. Conquistadores were hunting for El Dorado, the legendary Inca city of gold. In the mountains they discovered another city, not glinting with a precious yellow metal, but shining from its brilliant white mineral. For 2,000 years, the Maras tribespeople have been collecting salt from the saline water streams flowing down the mountainside. David delivers one of the tribe's few concessions to modern life: cement to reinforce the walls of their pools. It weighs about 65 kilos. It's heavy. It's a big stone. Oh, it's tiring. Because it's heavy, we try and go as fast as we can. At 3,000 meters, the lack of oxygen soon makes itself felt. Those not used to the refined air could barely stagger a few steps with this sort of load, but the Maras are acclimatized. I've been working here since I was 11. I'm 33 now, so that's 22 years I've been in the salt works. My back hurts the whole time, but it's part of our work. These stones will now allow us to repair the wall. We can raise it up by a meter or 2. 4,000 pools have been dug out of the mountainside over the past 20 centuries. There are 424 families in this community, and every family has its pools. The number depends on what they've inherited from their ancestors. Before they fill the pools with salt water, the maras carpet the bottom with white earth. It's a means to ensure the salt is white when it crystallizes and not the dark, earthy color of the mountains. I'm making sure it's all flat. This white earth is called conte. It takes about a month to build one of these pools, helped along by a natural fortifying tonic. It's corn juice, which is good for you. We work better with some chicha. Once it's flat, we compact it with our feet until it's dry. I'm 42 now, and I've been doing this for 17 years. Snow, ice, wind or sunshine, salt production must go on. But I'm always very tired. Very tired. After the various stages of evaporation, the white gold can be collected. We just lift it, like this, and then we gather it all together. About 50 kilos is worth $9. On average, the maras make barely over $100 a month from the salt. David, the truck driver, doesn't make much more, on top of which he has to face all the dangers of the road. Ahead, a landslide has brought about 50 vehicles to a halt. It's been raining for months and the mountain is fragile. I've wasted 6 hours already. I'm going to be 6 hours late. Come on, get a move on. No, the ground here is unstable and the rain hardly helps. Sometimes the drivers have to wait for days before a digger shows up. This time they've had to wait just 8 hours. When I got here, there were already a few stones that had fallen, but not as many as now. You could get past them, but more stones fell, and I wanted to clear them out, and it was still raining. And I couldn't do it, I couldn't manage it. More and more stones kept coming down, so it was impossible to get through. I gave up. And now all my clothes are soaked, so I'm stark naked. The driver was right not to insist, as another found to his cost a few weeks earlier. The landslide dragged away a four-wheel drive. The driver risked getting through, but he got stuck and the river dragged him off. The river's already taken a few people. After 2 hours, the road is almost clear. David tries directing the traffic to avoid everyone rushing forward at once. Here, boss. Go on the other side so those cars can come through. Or they can go by on the right. No, but then we'll all get stuck. There are a few cars on this side. And they can't all get through. Look, there'll be a traffic jam otherwise. Get over to that side. So, let's get going. Is everything okay now? Oh yeah, we can get through. The drivers take it in turns to go, and the discipline pays off, as each of them know a traffic jam in this place could be fatal. All right. Well, there's another landslide that's slowly taking shape up there. That's because of another fault, a geological fault. No, the next time it rains, it'll get bigger, and then it'll be like on the side where there was the rockfall. David now needs to make up for lost time or face being fined by his clients. The roads in Peru are not all made of mud and loose stones. But only the main arteries are tarmacked. The road from Cuzco to Pongo de Mainique leads straight to the gas fields of the Amazon forests. It twists and turns through the glaciers of the Andean Cordillera, and then a 5-kilometer descent of hairpin turns. It's one of the highest roads in the world. Valdia and Luis, his assistant, make this journey once a month. But each time, they're uneasy. This bulldozer is destined for the jungles. Yes, it's for the Transandean gas. Every day, truckloads of equipment heads for the work sites. We're now at 4,580 meters. That high and no heating in the cabin. Ooh, it's cold. It's bad news. If you get a flat tire up here, it can be painful. Oh, it's really cold now. 5 degrees to be precise. The air brakes, with the rarefied conditions at this height, don't function as efficiently. It's the air compressor. It seizes up at this altitude. Yes, there's little oxygen up here. It's a steep descent, and the curves are tight. The road is narrow and the edges hardly well defined. Every year, the road claims its victims. Usually, the accidents are caused by the poor state of the trucks. Like this windshield wiper, which has given up the ghost. There's a problem with the wiper. We're trying to fix it. The windshield wiper never worked properly, so they compromised by driving very slowly, and at times as if blindfolded. As soon as the rain stops, the wind soon clears the drops of water from the windscreen. For once at least, their prayers were heard. And after descending for 4 hours, the two friends, if not the truck, will make it safely the rest of the way to the Amazon. David, he's still trying to make up the time he lost at the landslide. He steps up the pace, just where the road is most dangerous. The customer doesn't want to know about the landslide or all the other problems on the way. All he wants is his merchandise. So I can't afford to sleep most of the time. I just keep driving. Well, they'll pay, but the trouble is they may not call me again and use someone else. Yes, it fits. It's still raining. We need to hurry up. At this rate, another landslide will soon block the road. Because along here, there are about 4 or 5 landslides every day. So it collapses often. Oh, yes. If we'd had a bigger load, we wouldn't have been able to get through. Meaning the road is so saturated that it could give way at any moment. I'm scared because I feel it might fall. To get through, I point the truck in the right direction and just go for it. Once you set off, well, you can't see a thing. It's just... "10 seconds, and then you're through it." Determination and laughter to boost morale.
Over there are some wreckages that are beginning to rust.
And here some other truckers drove off the road. And over there are the crosses to the drivers who were killed. It's their memorial because they were alive when they drove through this way. And look, these chapels are just temporary. The mountain is about to collapse and we'll bury them. Everything will disappear, and after a while, with the help of the wind, we'll no longer remember the accidents. Every 5 kilometers, someone has been killed on this road. David's truck has run up 3 million kilometers on the clock, but there's nothing that will make him change it. If you feel the truck's going to go over, then you jump, save your life. So having a really nice truck isn't worth it. It's too much money. My truck is old, but it still works well. Never causes me any trouble, and we understand each other. After 15 hours on the road, David reaches the heart of the so-called lungs of the world, Amazonia. Every trip he makes here, the forest seems to retreat a little further. The illegal destruction of rare trees for their wood is largely responsible, but the jungle now harbors a large number of other people. They are known as the landless, and in a similar manner to the conquest of the American West, They grab huge swathes of virgin territory. Our group consists of several families. We own nothing, no land, no home. We found this land and we don't know who it belongs to, so we occupy it as best we can. It's about 1.5 hectares. If no one shows up to remove them, they will hope to make a living from cultivating the land. Most are mountain people, farmers who have fled the poverty of their villages. This is mine, you see? Idalia used to be a tourist guide in Cuzco. After being without work for 2 years and with no unemployment pay, life became very hard indeed. She left town taking her 2 children. When we first arrived here, there were plants everywhere. All that area there? Well, it was like that. People clear the land by burning off the plants. And we've made 4 roads in an X shape, and it ends over there. Is that where you slept last night? Oh yeah, this is my bed. Did you get wet with all the rain? No, I used a plastic cover. 40-year-old Sabina is flattening the entrance to her hut. I built my own home. By yourself? Yes. You did all this on your own? Yep, all by myself. The kids are too small to help. They tried, though. I have nothing to cook with. Nothing. Now my children are coming. They went to the market to beg for some rice and pasta. I'm a single mother with no husband or family to help me financially. I sell a few spices, and that way I can feed my children. One day, the landless might be able to make something of this village in the jungle. And maybe one day, there'll even be a road. And it might be David who brings them their first goods. The ravines of the Cordillera may be left behind, but there is still danger on the road. No, it's the tree that stopped me. I went too far forward and now everything's ripped. That's all I can do. I just have to keep going like this. It's ripped through the cover. Well, that's the way it is. That's why everything falls apart out here. I ended up in this river once. I was carrying some freight from Cuzco and the current swept it all away. It was the 25th of December, Christmas, and I ended up in the river. The rain can wash away the track at any time. One day it's smooth, and the next, it's like it's been bombed. A lot of people have been killed here. I had an accident here 10 years ago. There was a lot of undergrowth on the road back then, and it hit a big hole that the rain had made. Along I came, and the wheel of the truck went straight in. I tipped over here, and all the wood I was transporting went that way. A woman, a neighbor who was traveling with me, was sitting up on one of the logs at the time. So we tipped over, and the woman was killed. She was crushed between the logs, and there were a lot of logs. It was an unfortunate accident. It still affects me 10 years later. Every time I come this way, I think of my neighbor, this dead woman. Her name was Olivia, and she had 3 children. And ever since then, I never take any passengers, just goods, no more. David still has 200 kilometers of jungle to go. In Amazonia, there are millions of kilometers of rivers and streams. They provide a link between the most remote villages. Marco is in charge of a river canoe. We're on our way to the village of Kirigeti. It'll take 7 hours to get there. Sit here. Move that mattress along and the bottle of gas. Okay, let's go. The river Urubamba provides a lifeline for a dozen or so villages. But a lifeline that's at the mercy of the river. Oh, it's a dangerous path. Many have already been killed. If you capsize, the chances of survival is 0. You need to know how to maneuver the engine in these fast currents. That's the secret. There are many accidents with people losing control of the canoes and smashing into the rocks. There's stones there and wham! Or a chunk of wood and wallop! Once there was a guy in his canoe with a heavy load of cement, and he must have had some bad moves, as he wasn't that experienced. 3 of the 5 passengers on board were killed. We're coming to the most dangerous part now. Each year, many people are drowned. We have to pay tribute to appease the rapids. Before we used fermented plants. Nowadays it's wine. We're paying the river. After this next turn, where it bends, it's the rapids. The river cuts through the Megantoni region and the sacred Indian land of Machiguenga. The sanctuary of Megantoni is a sacred place for us. It's where our ancestors are resting, in amongst the rocks.
Que viven dentro de las rocas.
But under these rocks lies gas, the greatest threat to the Indians' way of life. The Peruvian state keeps granting mining and hydrocarbon concessions, which only serves to destroy our ancestors and the reserve at Megantoni. The exploitation of gas began 10 years ago, and as there were no roads, the equipment is brought in by boat or helicopter. The Indians say the drilling and gas works have damaged the ecosystem. Game and fish have virtually disappeared. There's always gas leaks and the fish are affected. And with all the trawlers and boats, there's a lot of pollution. After 8 hours, the canoe ends its journey. This is the Kirigeti native community. Kirigeti means carpenter because before there used to be carpenter birds here. The sacred bird has disappeared. Another tune has replaced its song. And we hunt and fish far less. We're losing the old traditions and values. Just 10 years ago, the Machiguenga Indians survived as hunter-gatherers. Today, they survive off monthly state handouts. The village chief says civilization has invaded the jungle. There's a gas well here. Repsol pays compensation for its impact on the people and on the river and all the noise the helicopters make. They also give us some money when they drill for gas and when they start exploiting it. We only get compensation for the indirect effects it causes. That's about $75,000 a year per village. There was nothing before. Nothing to eat. Nothing. There were no shops. Now there is one, and you can even listen to music. Everybody has a TV now, and most people have the same standard of living as everyone else in the country. We all have food, ice cream, and especially beer. There's always plenty of beer here. Beer is just one of the scourges that's been inflicted on the Indians since gas exploration began. Wild animals have disappeared, which has led to a winged mammal with a ferocious appetite, descending onto neighboring farms. There are a lot of bats. It's not like before, there were hardly any. Now there are a lot. They injure the cows. There are an increasing number of them and they suck their blood. And there's nothing we can do as the bats are nocturnal animals. Oh, he's over here. Come and have a look. In fact, bats don't suck their victims dry of blood. It's the infection their bite causes that is the problem. And the farmers here rarely have the necessary medicines. There are a lot of bites, and that's why it's bleeding so much. Between them, gas, subsidies, and alcohol are slowly destroying the Machiguenga Indians. Other tribes face a similar fate. After 2 days behind the wheel, David finally reaches the Indian reservation, where he's to drop off the construction material and load up with a new cargo of wood. He's a native. He's a Chintuyas Indian. This is the village they call the New Eden. And this is the end of the road. From a distance, it might indeed resemble a small piece of paradise. A closer inspection reveals the truth. The lumber arrives from several places. It's shipped in by boat, and then small trucks bring it here, so we can load up. Hello, how's it going? Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. David is 6 hours late by the time he arrives, but no one is complaining, and with good reason. I have no idea when I'll be able to load up, because the news is bad. There are a lot of trucks here now, and I'll just have to wait. I've been here almost 3 days waiting for the freight for Cuzco. 3 days without work. The only compensation for the drivers is the shelter and somewhere to eat. 3 months earlier, he was in the middle of the jungle and had witnessed a rare scene. Did you film this? Yes, with a small camera. It's incredible, I can hardly believe it. But it's real. The Indians that are shouting from the opposite bank of the river are Mashopiro, and their lifestyle has barely evolved. The law in Peru forbids any contact with the tribe on pain of prison. The Mashopiro are not immune from the diseases of modern man, and a simple flu could devastate them. It's amazing in our day and age to see people who live the same way as primitive man, completely naked. They have no contact with civilization. They only emerge out of necessity if they need food or clothes. If they were happy to be in the jungle, they wouldn't try and leave it. I think they want to be part of our world, because their needs make them want to get out and see the world. A world that is all too often limited to the closest village and what lies at the bottom of a bottle. I'm from the jungle.
Hace un accidente, motorista.
Me? I'm now civilized, my friend. I live here. Here. And I'm slowly dying here. Because I have no land to go to. 4 days later, David gets his consignment of 10 tons of wood. Each year, the Peruvian jungle is reduced by some 1,500 square kilometers, the equivalent of 2 New Yorks, and that figure is constantly increasing. I like the jungle, the rivers and going fishing. I like being in the jungle. But if nothing is done, some experts predict there will no longer be any jungle left by the year 2030. It's hard with an axe. It would have taken 2 days to do this before. Now, with the modern equipment we have, it's just 2 hours. It's nothing.